And speaking of a guy who's going to be having a lot of bras coming into his DMs, man, Gustavsson, that goalie goal in Minnesota, that bomber.
Listen,
way to get some action.
I love it, man. It's one of those things that only happens in hockey. It's better than a half-court shot. It's better than a grand slam. It's when the goaltender scores because it happens so few and far between. It's pretty special, man. And there's a very elite list of goaltenders that have done it. I know Chris Osgood's got a couple. Ron Hextall was the first one to shoot and actually score. But the first person to ever be credited, the first goaltender to ever be credited with a goal on the ice was Billy Smith with the New York Islanders.
That was in the 70s, right? Late 70s?
My mom's ex-boyfriend.
Billy,
I think he did that in the early 70s.
Billy Smith was crushing Mrs. Wheeler?
Okay, so this is as far as the story goes. From what I understand, they dated for a very short period of time after games. I think he played in Cornwall, Ontario, where my parents were born and raised. And they used to go over the border and party and whatnot. Now, fast forward, I'm playing in a charity tournament, the Mike Keane tournament, where he brings in a bunch of retired guys and you get one per team and whatnot. And there's a big social and there's a big, get together and fundraiser. And Billy Smith was there. And I went over and I said, hey, Billy, Dave Wheeler, nice to meet you. And he goes, hey, good to meet you. And I said, I'm actually the son of Mary Wheeler. And he stops and he looks and he goes, now how? No. I'm trying to remember exactly how it went. But I said, oh, you're from the Eastern Ontario area. You know Mary and Nancy Wheeler. And he says, now, how would you know Mary and Nancy Wheeler? And I said, I'm Mary's son. And all of a sudden, you can see him doing the math in his brain, like, oh, how old is this guy? Going all the way. I said, it's okay, you're safe. But they do speak very highly of you from back in the day. And so there's a sign of relief, and I had a great chat with him. But yeah, Billy Smith, the first one to ever be credited with a goal in the National Hockey League, even though he didn't shoot the puck.
That's got to be good for a hot lap. 2 hot laps.
Absolutely.
For Mrs. Wheeler and the goal.
Right?
Man, I love, though, how goalies nowadays, when they're scoring goalie goals, whether it's Linus Ullmark, Pecorine, or Filip Gustavsson, they're giving a hot lap. They're going for a lap and a little flyby with the fellows at the bench. I love it.
Have you ever taken a shot at the net?
No, I've never been on winning teams.
But you've never been on a situation where you had the puck in your zone, emptying out of the other end, and thought about you've never even had the opportunity?
Dude, honest to God, I've played on so many dog shit teams. We're usually losing by 2 or 3. I'm usually getting pulled, and they're having the chance to fire at the empty net. If I played on a winning team, there's no doubt in my mind I'd have a goalie goal by now.
Because you're a good stick handler. Have you got a decent shot? Could you get it from the goal line to the far blue line in the air?
So at the end of practices,
I can't, for the record. Not even with a regular stick.
Well, you only got one eye, so it's hard.
It has nothing to do with the eye. I can't even get it in the air that long.
Well, so at the end of some practices in minor pro, whether it was in Motor City, Watertown, Mississippi, the ice is dog shit, and we're getting skated. The coach would say, okay, all right, fellas, in the far end, everybody takes a shot at the empty net. You hit the shot, coach is doing a lap. You miss it, you're doing a lap. Every single time I'd ever shoot it, whether it was in Motor City, Watertown, I would always hit the shot. There's no doubt in my mind, if I was playing on winning teams, the net's empty, we're up by 2, only do it when you're up by 2, not by 1. I would have a goalie goal. There's no doubt in my mind. I'd be giving the fellows a hot lap, and man, I'd be enjoying it.
You ride the hobby horse on the way down?
Absolutely. You got to ride the baloney pony, saddle her up, let everybody know. Thanks for coming, spending $7. Here's your value.
Jaguar has one too, doesn't he?
No, Jaguar doesn't.
Really?
Cam Ward does. Cam Ward has the most recent one where his pad save and
yeah. Somebody from Anaheim has one though. Who was it?
I don't think anybody from Anaheim has one.
I gotta check now.
You know, I think the most impressive goalie goal of all time, you have the ones like Ullmark's where he bombs it over everybody, Pecorine too. I think the most impressive one of all time is my childhood idol, Jose Theodore, behind the net, backhand, over the scoreboard into the empty net. And on his scouting report when he was drafted 199th overall, they said, terrible puck handler. Do not trust him with the puck handling. I remember him doing an interview after saying, yeah, bad puck handler, huh? Whoever wrote that. Watch tonight's game.
Right? Linus Ullmark's got one. We were just talking about him.
Yep. That's from Vancouver.
Tristan Jarry.
Jarry got one, yeah.
Yeah. Pecorine, you mentioned him. Mike Smith.
Yeah, he got one.
Marty Brodeur.
I'm surprised Mike Smith didn't have more. He was so due. I think he had 2 posts as well. 1 goal and 2 posts.
Cam Ward.
Yeah, off the pad. Also, how about the fact that Filip Gustavsson has scored more goals than Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, and I think Sidney Crosby combined at this point in time.
Wow.
At the time of recording this show.
Chris Mason, Nashville Predators versus Phoenix Coyotes back in 2006.
Ooh, yeah.
Mika Norinen.
Yep, Buffalo Sabres legend.
At Maple Leafs. Evgeny Nabokov.
Yeah, he bombed that one down, yeah.
Sharks at Canucks. Theodore, you mentioned that one.
Yeah.
Marty Brodeur.
In the playoffs against the Flyers, I think. 2000 or was it 2002?
Damian Rhodes.
Senators legend.
Yep. Osgood's got a couple. Hextall, Billy Smith. You're welcome for enjoying this clip. And you're welcome to click on more of them right here. There's lots of content available, new podcast every Sunday. Sign up for the Patreon page as well, because that gets you what?
Merch.
Perks. That's it.